This is Mr. Chang, and in this video, we're going to take a look at nested if statements as well as its equivalent as a logical AND. So first off, go ahead and create a script under Workspace. So just go ahead and click on Workspace and then select it, add a script, and this script will execute once you play your game. So a nested if statement is an if statement placed inside of another if statement. Nested if statements are often used when you must test a combination of conditions before deciding on the next action. In some cases, a nested if statement can have an equivalent logical operator expression. Now, if we recall from our previous lesson, logical AND has the following rule. It is true if both conditions are true or false otherwise. Now, let's go ahead and create two Boolean conditions to test this out. So I'm going to go ahead and do print, and we'll say example 1 here. And so we're going to create two Boolean variables. We're going to have is cold and true. And then we're going to have local is snowing and true. And then we're going to connect it together. So if it's cold and snowing, we're going to print the message, it's cold and snowing. So now we're going to have if is cold and is snowing, as we've had before. And then we're just going to go ahead and print it's cold and snowing. All right, so let's go ahead and test this out. And as we can see, we have our message here for our dinosaur. It's cold and snowing. Now, let's try the second version of this using a nested ifs here. So this is our version 1. Let's kind of note this here, and let's try this again with version 2. So we've got if is cold, then, and rather than use the logical AND, we're going to use our if within an if. So we've got if is snowing, then now we're going to put print it's cold and snowing again. All right, so let's try this out here. So we have our output here, it's cold and snowing, and that is from our first version. And then from our second version here, we've got it's cold and snowing again. All right, let's try another example. So if the number is positive and even, print the number is positive and even. So first off, let's go ahead and create a random number from -10 to 10. And I'm going to say print example 2. And again, I'm going to create a random number here. Skip a line. So we've got local num equal math.random. And let's make a number from -10 to 10 to make things interesting. And now we're going to have if num greater than or equals 0. So that's a positive number. And num modulus operator 2. And the remainder of that. So when you divide number divided by 2 and you have a remainder of 0, then we're going to print the number num is positive and even. All right, so let's give this a try here. So very interestingly, we happen to get 0. So we have the number 0 is positive and even. Now, if we happen to roll a negative number, notice we don't have an else here, so nothing would print out. Now, let's try another version. Let me just list this as version 1, and let's create version 2 here. So we've got version 2, and this time around, we're going to have our nested ifs. So we've got if num greater than or equal to 0, then if num modulus operator 2, remainder of 0, then. And now we're going to have our message print the number num is positive and even again. All right, so let's try this code again. And again, if we happen to get a negative number, so far it's not going to print us out anything. So far, it just says example 2 down here, which means that we had a negative number. Let's try it again here. And this time around, we've got 8. So 8 is both positive and even. Again, coming from this line here. And then we've got our second message. The number 8 is positive and even again. All right, now there's a subtle difference when we look at the code very carefully between the logical and the nested if statements. So in a logical, using the logical ands, we have only one if, so therefore we can only have one else. So let's go ahead and in our code, let's go ahead and change it. We're going to add our else here. So here, because we only have one if, which is right over here, we can only have one else. So let's put our message here. We've got now the number is not positive. The number blank is not positive and not even. It could be both. Now let's try the nested if here. So this is also a little different. As we can see, this is going to be a little bit more fine-tuned. So here we've got the number is positive and it's not even. In fact, it'd be odd. And then let's go ahead and add another else here. So we've got another else. We've got print the number num is not positive. Okay, so again, because we have two ifs here, it's now possible to have two elses. So let's go ahead and try our code again. Let's see what number we get this time. So we have here the number 10 is positive and even. Let's try to see if we can get a negative number and or a odd number here. Okay, so we got 2 this time. Let's keep trying. And this time around we've got -9. So we've got -9 is not positive and not even. And you notice here our message here is slightly different because we've got the number -9 is not positive. All right, so let's try a third example here. So let's try if you're humanoid and you like ice cream. All right, so let's go back to our code here. And we've got version 3. We've got these 2 Boolean variables. We've got humanoid equal true. We've got local likes ice cream equal true. And let's use our logical and for this. So humanoid and likes ice cream. Then we're going to print you're human if you like ice cream. All right, let's try it and make sure this works. Let's go ahead and test it. And we've got your human if you like ice cream. Let's try this as a nested if. So again, we've got if humanoid, then if likes ice cream, then we're going to use that message again. You're human if you like ice cream again. Okay, so let's try this out. And again, we've got our 2 messages here. We've got you're human if you like ice cream. And we have a second message, you're human if you like ice cream again from our nested if statements. Now, again, as I just mentioned, with the logical and version, it's only possible to have one else. So let's go back here and go into our code. We've got our else here. So we're going to add here either you're human or you don't like ice cream. Not clear which one it is. And then let's try with our nested if, as we can see, we've got two if statements. So then we can have two elses. So we've got else prints, you don't like ice cream. And we get another else here. We've got prints, you're not human. Okay, so this time though, I'm gonna change these to let's try humanoid false and see what happens here. So if humanoid false, so the first message we get is either you're humanoid or you don't like ice cream. Again, that's coming from this message over here because one of these is false. Both of them have to be true in order for the entire expression to be true. And then down here, we're getting you're not human because it's going from this if that's false, so it goes to this else over here. Now let's try this one more time and we'll make this one false. And let's take a look at the messages here. So we've got humanoid true, likes ice cream false. So again, the second one here, likes ice cream is false. So that's why it goes here, you don't like ice cream. Sorry, for this one, it goes, you're either human or you don't like ice cream because there's only one else. And for the second one here, because we put likes ice cream false, it now goes to you don't like ice cream. All right, I hope that helps, and I'll see you in the next video.